Our next main heading is website navigation or navigating menus we have in our textbook. Okay, so the navigation is an efficient navigational structure. It is most important element in the system usability, and it's a method people use to find what they want. So here you have an example for website navigation, how the navigation menu is, okay, or menus, links, how it is being placed on the screen. It's an Yahoo website, okay. It has got Yahoo search option, then you have top navigation menus you have, and also side navigation menus you have here. Okay, a system's organizational structure and its navigation tools, including elements such as menus, links, toolbars, and command buttons, influence the system's navigation and how easily you can use a navigation system. Website navigation problems are of two kinds. You have technical issues and the usage issues. Technical issues, if you see, it is open-ended with many parts. So if you see the website, okay, if you start with one particular website and if you click one link, okay, you may be going to another link and it will be opened with another website. Okay, again in the same website you will be provided with certain links, and again if you click on that link you will be moved to another website. So it's like a web, is it spider web we can say, and this spider web is actually open-ended with many kinds of paths. Okay, you cannot say you have to move in the certain path itself. Okay, you can go with any kind of path, okay, as you wish, and you'll be ended somewhere. Okay, so that is one thing, and multiple different systems will be encountered. So if you think of the website, okay, the underlying operating system may be different. Okay, these users will be using different kinds of operating system, and so this navigation characteristics, whatever you have now and the standards what you are going to follow, it should be consistent with the operating system the users are using. Okay, so if you think that you are using with the one kind of browser, sometimes the browser may not be working with certain applications. Okay, so that may happen. So that is incompatibility we can say. Okay, sometimes your applications may not be running properly with some kinds of operating systems also. So that will be also happening. So there should be consistency between the operating system what you are using and the websites whatever that is being designed. And see that when you are using the website, you should, the user may not be knowing if he continuously uses clicks on the links, and he might be somewhere else. That is, you can say that for the novice users, the website navigation may be very difficult to use, because the web users, especially the novice users, often do not recognize where the browser ends and the website application begins. Okay, because all the web links, whatever that's being provided, is open-ended with many paths. So he might be confused where exactly he is. Okay, that is like one of the technical issues we have. Then, because of the rapid system involvement and expansion, there are certain website designs that has to be improved. Okay, and next is usage issues. The two most serious user problems is the website navigation. In the website navigation are it has a heavy mental model mental loads imposed to use the web, and a feeling of spatial disorientation that often occurs. Okay, so that is about the usage issue, you can say. Often there are too many links that is presented on the screen or a page, many of whose meanings are actually not clear. Okay, links frequently offer few clues to where they lead, how much information will be found at the other end, and how this information relates to currently displayed page. So another problem is that not all the links on the pages are always obvious. This often leads to much trial and error behavior. So that is about usage issue, we can say. So that is when websites are being designed, you should know that it should not feel, it should not cause any disorientation experience by the user, because if there is disorientation, he may feel that he is lost in web space, okay, somewhere in the web space. And remember that while designing the website, scrolling pages should be avoided, because if scrolling button is being used in the navigation or you can say website designing, okay, some of the important contents may not be visible to the user, okay, because of scrolling. So that's why the scrolling pages will be leading to loss of local context. So that's why as you know, it should be avoided, this scrolling pages. Okay, and you can say that the recent research paper found that 39% of users of shopping sites they are being failed. Why? Because in their buying attempts, the sites were very difficult to navigate. Okay, you can say that here, if your navigation that is being provided in the particular shopping site is very difficult, okay, you feel, see, some shopping websites will be very user friendly. Why you say it's user friendly? Whenever you want that particular item to be searched, it gives you the particular product or the item very quickly for the user that's being presented on the screen. Okay, but some shopping websites are very difficult to navigate. You feel that it takes a longer time to actually search for an item. Okay, so that is one thing, or you can say it's based on research also. It's found that the shopping sites or online shopping sites, you can say, they fail because of the actually some of the technical issues, you can say. Is it technical issues only, that is. Okay, that is it led to navigation problems among the users. And next is navigation goals. So when the user is being used, he is using the website, he must answer few questions here during all the interaction times. Okay, that is, one question is where I am now, and where did I come from, and where can I go from here, and how can I get there quickly. So these are the normal questions that will be lingering in the mind of a particular user when he is using the website. So these are the questions that will be answered, okay, or which has to be answered, you can say. Let us see some of the system navigation guidelines in the next slide. General system navigation guidelines include the following. The first point you have here is control, and the next point you have is menu navigation aids. So let us start with control. So here you have already learnt about multi-level menus. So you can see that in Word, for example, if you see here, you can see that it has got, so this is a menu list, and you have got a multi-level menu. So that means what? Here, suppose if you select style, okay, you will be going into a next level of menu list. Okay, similarly numbering, if you choose, you will have a next level menu list, and bullets if you are choosing, again you will be having next level. So this is called a multi-level menu, is it? So here, suppose you want to control these kinds of menu, you should have a simple action to return to the main menu, is it? So that is what here they are saying. For multi-level menus, provide one simple action to return to the next higher level menu, okay, and also to return to the main menu. Suppose if you are going from first level menu, second level menu, and third level menu, and suppose if you want to return from third level to the first level, then there has to be a simple action provided, okay. And also suppose if you want to move from first level to second level, then also, and from second level again if you want to return back to first level, that also has to be accomplished by a simple action, okay. There should not be very complicated action, there should be a simple action that has to be provided in UI to return to the higher level menu or to the main menu. Provide multiple pathways through a main menu hierarchy whenever possible. So what is this multiple pathways? So if you have already learnt about multi-pathing of menus. So here, if you can see here, the menu 1 goes to menu 3 in two ways, okay. That is, you can go from menu 1 to menu 2 and then to menu 4, and then you can go to menu 3. So there is another path from menu 1 to go to menu 3. Another path is menu 1, you can go to menu 2, then again to menu 3. So this is kind of a multi-path way you have in multiple menus, okay. So whenever to control this kind of menu, you have to provide a multi-pathways through a menu hierarchy whenever possible, okay. You should be able to control these kinds of menu also, okay. You have to have a simple actions to go to one menu to another menu, and also to return back to the same previous menu. And then about menu navigation aids. So to aid menu navigation and learning, provide an easily accessible menu map or overview of menu hierarchy, okay. So when it will be useful, when you want this kind of menu maps. So when you are using with, or you are dealing with the multi-level menu, okay. So you know how a simple menu is. Simple menu means it will be not having any levels there, okay. And if you are dealing with the multi-level menu, then there may be menu 1 level, menu level 2, level 3, level 4, like this it may go on, okay. So whenever users are going to use this kind of menu, they may not be knowing where exactly, in which menu list they are currently using, okay. It is like you might have used games like maze game, okay. You may not be knowing from where exactly you came from, like that, okay. So this kind of disorientation has to be reduced, okay. So to help the users in by using multi-level menus, they are going to provide a menu map, okay, or it's like an overview of menu hierarchy. So using this map, the users will be able to understand in which level he is exactly working with, okay. And there are certain advantages of using this kind of menu maps also. It results in fewer errors or wrong. There are less chances of choosing the wrong choices, and it will help in faster navigation. And also it provides user satisfaction, you can say. And these kinds of menu maps also can be described in kind of narrative descriptions to help the users to better understand the menu hierarchy. So that is about menu maps. It's like you are using a geographical map or Google map or to go to certain places like this, is it? So same way, when you are using the menu hierarchy or multiple menus, if you are working with multiple menus, then this kind of menu maps will be helpful. And next we have a look ahead at the next level of choices. Alternatives that will be presented when the currently viewed choice is selected. So what is this look ahead? So in pull down menus, you might have seen when you are actually selecting, if you are not selecting, just think that if you are just placing an cursor on a particular choice, okay, automatically it will show a description about the menu choice, what exactly it may be doing if you are selecting the particular choice. Okay, you might have seen like this, a description. For example, now you have a paste. If you consider this paste, okay, so when a cursor is being placed on this paste, automatically here a box like structure you may be seeing, and it tells about what exactly the paste is going to do. Okay, so that is look ahead option that is already always provided for the users to help in um, using the menu. Okay, so it permits a review of choices available if that menu bar is being selected. And such look aheads are useful if ambiguity exists at the higher level choice points. And it's also this look aheads decrease errors and improve satisfaction. And menu search times also may be reduced if you are using this kind of look aheads. And next we have navigation history. So why we need this navigation history? So suppose if you are working with the multiple level menus, okay, so you have to know exactly you from where you have come from, or from which menu you have menu, the previously selected menu you have um, you have chosen, or you can say it summarizes the menu choices made earlier. Okay, so it also displays about the current menu list, and also it gives the history of the uh, menu choices you have already done. Okay, so that is about guidelines here. Next is web navigation. So all of you are familiar with using the websites, is it? So web pages can be of any length, and also these web pages consist of number of links, and if you're going to click on these links, it may lead to number of pages again. So always when you're using this kind of web pages, if you are not understanding the landmarks or where exactly you are, okay, then you may be lost in space, is it? So that's why we need a website navigation design. So here we will review certain guidelines to how to organize these websites. You'll be learning about organizational schemes and navigational components of a site, and including the browser command buttons, how to write a website toolbars, and or how to design it, and also website command buttons we will be dealing with, and also you'll be learning about the characteristics and components of website that contribute to maintain a sense of place. Okay, so let us understand with the website organization. So if you are looking into a web page, you have to divide the content of web page into logical fragments, units or chunks. So you know the concept of hypertext. Okay, hypertext is a non-linear way of organizing the information based upon certain principles. So what kind of principles it may consist of? A large body of information exists that can be organized into fragments. Okay, and so what exactly you have to do is you have to divide the particular web page into fragments. Okay, or you have to organize the page into logical fragments, and these fragments may be actually relating to each other, and the user needs sometimes only a small fraction of fragments. So now you have to understand how to divide these logical fragments. Okay, the small chunks of related information are easier to organize into modular groups of information that will compose the organization scheme and form the basis for hypertext links that has been described shortly. Okay, so next point we have is establish a hierarchy of generality or importance. A hierarchical tree structure is recommended organization scheme that is suggested by Sun Microsystems. So they have given certain points to be remembered to maintain this kind of hierarchical tree structure. State, conclusions and link you have to provide to support the what kind of details you are going to have in this in the particular page. Okay, so you also have to enumerate the categories of information and link them to detailed listing also, and summarize the information and link to full length treatments. So when you are saying a hierarchical tree structure, what does this mean? Does tree structure means you might have looked into a document. So usually in your projects you may be maintaining a document, is it? So the document consists of large amount of information, but how you are going to organize it in a well structured way. Okay, so you are going to again maintain a hierarchical tree structure there. Where exactly you may be seeing that you will be seeing it in the first page, that is table of contents, or what is the contents of this particular document. Okay, how do you organize it? You may tell about the table of contents, then what are the chapters, under chapters you'll be having sections, again subsections. So this is again, if you are looking into it carefully, it is like a hierarchical tree structure you are going to maintain. So it is a very good scheme, we can say. Since people are very familiar with this kind of organization, we have to maintain the same kind of structure, and that is hierarchical tree structure in the websites as well. Okay, so other organization schemes also we have, like including the subtopics, or based upon prioritization, you can give priorities for certain important topics, and you can give lesser priority for the other contents of the pages. Okay, some other organization schemes also we have, but instead of that, if you go for hierarchical tree structure, it's better way of conveying the message. Okay, and next we have structure the relationships among the content fragments, units or chunks. Okay, so now you have to have a relationship within the fragments. Okay, so like you have the main page. Okay, you can say it as a parent page. Okay, and again, if you click on a certain link on the parent page, you may go to a child page. Okay, and again, you may have, if you are navigating across the branches, you will be having sibling pages as well. So this kind of movement will be within the subject area, you can say. So, or we can say it is within a branch. Okay, so such kind of relationship has to be maintained, that is a parent child relationship, you can say. And also another way of navigation and relationship we are going to have, that is global or site wide. So global or site wide is mainly for providing the users with the maps. Okay, that is site maps, we can say. to facilitate the search of any of the item or any kind of information. So there also we have to maintain the structure or relationship between the contents. Okay. And next is about hierarchical tree structure we had, okay, already. That is, see here, establish the global or site-wide navigation requirements. Okay. So create a well-balanced hierarchical tree. So restrict to 2 levels requiring no more than 2 clicks to reach the deepest content whenever possible. So as I said, you have to maintain a hierarchical tree structure in case of web pages while designing the web pages. And also remember that when you are providing the hierarchical tree structures in the menus, suppose I say here, take a menu here. So in the website we will be providing the number of menus, okay, menu 1, menu 2, like this we will be providing, is it? So now understand that this is the breadth of the menu. You can say here breadth, okay, and number of choices again you will be having for each of the menu. Number of choices you'll be having, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 number of choices. So that gives you the, so you have breadth and depth, is it? So here hierarchical, according to the recent studies or research, whatever they have done on this hierarchical tree structure, hierarchical breadth, okay, has been found to be gratefully helpful for the users. Why? Because see here, if you are providing the number of menus, okay, and you have displayed everything on the website, okay, this will be more helpful for the user instead of giving the choices. See that I say, what I say is, a few menus with large number of choices are better than large number of menus with a smaller amount of choices. Okay, repeat a sentence. A few menu with large number of choices. Okay, when I say few menu with large number of choices, means its depth is more. Okay, its depth is more. Sorry, a few menu with the large number of choices are okay. Depth is somewhat okay, but large number of menus with a smaller amount of choices will not be that helpful for the user. Okay, so remember that hierarchical breadth has to be maintained. Okay, and depth has to be decreased. Depth means the choice levels should be less, and breadth, menus can be increased. Okay, that is breadth can be increased. So that is what in case of hierarchical tree. So restrict always to 2 levels requiring no more than 2 clicks to reach deepest content whenever possible. So that means instead of going to 3, 4 levels, maintain always restricted to 2 levels. Okay, that is better to get any information. Let us understand about components of web navigation system. So before that, let us understand about hypertext. So what is this hypertext? Hypertext is the word that contains link to particular website. For example, if you're in Google, you may be typing the word in Google browser, you may be typing the word called Facebook, is it? So as soon as you type that Facebook word, it will be linked to Facebook page, is it? So that is called hypertext example. Okay, you have. And also, what do you mean by hypermedia now? So it's also a hypertext, that is, if you are including the hypertext along with the images and videos, we call it as hypermedia. Okay, so now we have this navigation controls to control the navigation system of any web pages. Okay, so there are certain guidelines to design these navigation controls. The first point is make sense in the absence of site context. So what is this making the sense? Sense means the user always has to have a sense where exactly or which page he is using. Okay, he should not be lost in the context. Okay, he should not be lost in the context. He has to have a sense on which particular site he is, or where exactly he is, on which page he is currently using. So that has to be made here. Okay, so make sense in the absence of site context. So that is one point. Then next we have be continuously available. So all the navigation controls, whatever you have, maybe the top navigations or side navigations, anything it may be, all should be available all the time and it should be easily accessed. And next point we have be obvious and distinctive. Now if you are talking about appearance of the any of the page, okay, so suppose here in this Yahoo page, you know the location where exactly the mail is present, okay, or you exactly know where you have maps or messenger, movies. So based on certain priority, they have arranged this kind of menus, is it? So in top navigations also you have. So these locations has to be the locations of any of these menus, whatever they have displayed, it has to be on the same location, because user will be always using this navigation tools, is it? So that's why the location has to be maintained in the same manner. Now what is this obviousness? Obviousness means if you are having a, if you have searched particular word on Google or any other browser, okay, and if it contains, the website opens and if it contains number of links, the links also has to be in a certain limitation, okay, it should not be more, because if you provide number of links more, which is more than necessary, then user may not be knowing which link has to use, or he may take longer time to search the links, okay, and some links may not be discovered itself. So that is the reason, that's why we have to be obvious and distinctive when you're choosing the navigation controls. And next is be consistent in appearance, function and ordering. Consistency has to be maintained in interfaces, navigation links, toolbars, command buttons, okay, and the appearance also has to be consistent and behavior also has to be consistent, okay, because consistency means every time whenever you open the same pages, it has to be appeared in the same manner, okay, the toolbars or navigation links, everything has to be placed on the same location, okay, the appearance also should not be changed, the color or the style of how it is being displayed, okay, any menus, anything, okay, it should not be changed, okay, that's what we are saying here. Be consistent in appearance, its function and also order, okay, how it is maintained. Here it's not in the alphabetical order, okay, it's some based on some priority they have arranged this menu, so that also has to be consistent. Next is possess textual label or description. So always possess certain so suppose if you see here a particular page especially, Okay, you can look that it has got both the image that is graphical representation as well as textual representation. Uh, so graphical representations, if you are providing, it may take a longer time to download and as well as upload everything. Okay, so better to go for textual labeling. So even if the configurations of the users devices are not that higher end, okay, if it's lower end devices, that it may only display the textual images, it may not show up the graphical images. Okay, only textual descriptions or labels will be displayed. Okay, so that's why always possess any kind of navigation tools or navigation buttons, anything it may, if you are using, okay, you have to have it in a textual. This is textual labeling is better. Okay, don't go for graphical images to show the particular function or any actions. Next, we have offer multiple navigation paths. Provide structured components such as site maps, table of contents, and indexes to go directly into the point of interest of a user. Okay, so if you provide maps or table of contents or any kind of indexes, users can use the particular website in a very easier manner. Okay, you can provide multiple navigation paths, but whenever you provide multiple navigation paths, you have to provide the maps or table of contents, whatever you have in the particular website. So this is about navigation controls. Website navigation component, continued portion it is. So now we have browser command buttons. So you know what is a browser, is it? So we have Google browser, Mozilla, so many kinds of browser we have using now. So I have taken here considering the Google browser. So if you here see Google browser, here we also have a command buttons. So how we have to present the command buttons here? Hide the split between the browser and the website application by including navigation controls within the application. So here uh, the command buttons are mainly here are backward button you have, forward button you have, is it? So this is browser command buttons, but you have to have different buttons, command buttons for the particular application. So suppose if you have typed in Google Facebook, okay, and or Twitter, any kind of application, suppose you have typed there, and next what it will open up the page, is it its own page it will open. Facebook, for example, Facebook will be open again. In that inside the Facebook, you are being provided with the next and previous buttons. Okay, so that is how uh, a browser is differentiated by an application. Okay, browser command buttons are different. So suppose in this particular this browser itself, if you want to move forward and backward, you can use this button, but whereas it's in application, when you are coming to the application, it will be having different textual representation like next and previous. Okay, so that is about browser command buttons. And next we have website navigation bars. So taken website, for example, here we have a website. It's of University of Barcelona. So taking that example, I'll just elaborate these navigation bars. Provide a global navigation bar at top of each page. So what is that? You have to have, see here, you have got this particular page, that is website you have. Okay, and above this you have got certain buttons, navigation bar. Okay, So it's all provided at the top portion of the website. Okay, like see here, university, research and innovation, studying and teaching. So all these are certain menus they have placed all above the page. So that is provide the global navigation. So if you are providing it above the top of the sheet or top of the page, that we call it as global navigation bar. And next we have provide a local category or topical links navigation bar on the left side of the page. So in all websites pages, you'll be seen with the two kind of uh, navigation bars. One will be provided at the top, another will be provided at the left side. So left side we call it as local category. Okay, local category or topical links navigation bar will be placed here. Okay, see again here also if you are clicking it, you will be getting a number of menus, or it may be opening a new page also. And next we have place minor illustrative or parenthetical or footnote links at the end of the page. So some minor things or contents if you want to place, that you can keep at the end of the page, that is below the web page you can keep it. So that's called so that is very placing, that is will be at the usually at the end of the page. And next we have for long pages provide the navigation bar repeating important global or local links at the page bottom. Okay, so suppose if your page is very lengthy, that is website page is very lengthy, then you can have again navigation bars repeated at the page bottom as well. Okay, so we say it as local links also will be provided at the bottom of the page. Include textual phrase links in explicit menus and also embedded within the page text. So that means what is this explicit menus? So you might have seen certain textual explicit navigation bars, okay, like this. So that will be placed above the page. Okay, we call it as explicit menu listing. So they are all will be in textual format. And next we have embedded certain embedded text within the page. So that means for example here if you are looking at in this particular example, see all letters will be displayed in black color, and certain letters will be, if it is displayed, it will be displayed in blue color. So this, whenever you click on this particular link that is displayed in the blue color, it will open into a new page. So that is embedded page. That is, see, when you have a main page and within that page you have an embedded page. So that is when you are clicking such links, you will be moving to the next pages. Okay, so that is called embedded pages. And next we have graphical images or icons. So normally we represent certain in Gmail, if you are opening especially, so you will be provided with again navigation bars, okay, that is at the top and the left corner. If you are seeing in that Gmail, you might have seen for mail, you are provided with again graphical notation. Okay, so that is graphical images are also provided along with the textual representations. And next we have command buttons. As you know, command buttons may appear in the navigation bar. That will be placed. So for example, for the browser, it will be placed above like this. Okay, and for a particular website, it can be placed again. Command buttons also can be placed within the websites as well. Okay. In addition to the navigation bars, number of website elements are also important components of web navigation system. Among these overviews, we include sitemaps, indexes, table of contents. Other elements are historical trails and search engines. So, overview of this. Provide executive summary. So you have to provide an preview of the site and containing links to all major concepts. And also we have site maps. Why site maps are being used? See, it illustrates the site's hierarchical structure and relationship of the components. It gives the global and local maps. You may have been provided with the alphabetized site index and also table of contents. Okay, so site maps, if you are providing, it will be very helpful for the user to understand on which page he is currently using, or where exactly he is now present. Okay, then allow accessibility from any point in the website. Okay, so this is one more point. Next we have other navigation elements. They are historical trails and search engines. There are two types: historical trails and search engine. Search engines. And here historical trails provide breadcrumb trails. Uh, Breadcrumb trails will be actually located at the top of the page below the navigation links. For example, here you have one example of a website, okay, Mackey's website. So you can see that in the website, the above portion is showing the navigation links, and below that you can see that you have a breadcrumb trail. Okay, so what is this breadcrumb trail? Breadcrumb trail in a hierarchical website structure is a sequential textual listing of pages traversed from parent page to the page currently that is being displayed. For example, here now it's telling that the Mackey's website is telling that you are in wall art. Okay, the current page is wall art. So it's showing both the history and location of the website, is it? So you are in wall art. Currently you are in wall art site, and you have come from home decor, and previously you have clicked the home, okay, for the home. Okay, from here you have reached to wall art. So that is, see, you can see that symbol, okay, like greater than symbol you have, or you can use arrow mark symbol here, or a colon, or you can use slash. Okay, any symbols will be used here to represent this kind of breadcrumbs. Okay, so next we have history lists. History list is also again a sequential textual listing of sites or website visited over a specific time period. Maybe it may be a session or a day or some other time period. And next we have history trees. History tree is an overview map of a site structure with pages that is already visited, that is being marked by an indicator such as plus sign, or it may be a check mark or a asterisk sign. And then we have footprints. You can have footprints also. It's guiding the user back to the pages of interest. Maybe you can use a slash, or it may signal the user that's already been seen. Okay, that is footprints. So suppose if you want to see the particular website already you have visited, then you can go for this kind of footprints to access the particular website again. And next we have bookmarks. Bookmark is similar to the history list, except that it is designated by the user to mark locations of continuing interest. Okay, bookmarks will be usually you might have already seen in your particular website while using. Okay, bookmarks. And next we have search facility. So this is another navigation element. It's a search facility. So provide the search facility also. So you might have seen in the website, any web pages, you will be provided with search. Okay, so here is an example. That is Mackie's website is showing the search button in this manner. Okay, so you can enter any word here and you can search the uh, required information. So that is search facility. So historical trails and search facility is the other navigation elements that is provided in the website. Website navigation guidelines. First point is about scrolling the web pages. Do not require scrolling of navigation if it is only one page. So minimize the need for scrolling to view all the links on the pages containing the content. So that means whenever you are designing the web pages, minimize the scrolling button. Okay, so never use that. Only if it's necessary, then use the scrolling. Okay, or if you want to view all the pages, then you can use this scrolling button. Never require horizontal scrolling button. Okay, so always avoid the horizontal scrolling of the web pages. And next we have number of links. That is how many number of links you have to provide in a particular web page. Here we have every page should contain at least one link. Okay, be conservative in total number of links presented on the screen. So if your web page is logically grouped, then you can have a number of links, that is up to 18 to 24 links you can create. And suppose if your web page is without logical grouping, then you have to limit the links to 4 to 8. 4 to 8 links can be provided if your web page is without logical grouping of elements. Next we have restrict embedded links to those most important, pertinent and interesting. Okay, so suppose if your content is very important or interesting one, then you have to restrict the embedded links within that particular important topics. So you know what is meant by embedded links. So suppose if your page is displayed in black letters or black letters, then suppose if you are having the links, okay, it will be displayed in blue color. So then we call that as a embedded link. Why? Because if you click on that particular blue colored link or blue colored letters, you will be going on to next pages. Okay, new page. It will be linked to a new page. So that's called embedded links. So always restrict the embedded links if your content is very important or very interesting kind of information if you are having in the web page. Next we have place less relevant links in a listing. If you are having the less relevant links, then you can provide it with the listing of elements. Next web navigation guideline is presenting the links. We have first point as link text. So how you have to present the link text is underline all the link text, including that embedded in a page content. So link text can be provided when you are having embedded pages, and also it can be representing some of explicit menu listing also. And link text also can be contained in the headings as well as graphical labels. Distinguish between unselected or unvisited links and selected or visited links. So you have to distinguish both the unvisited links as well as visited links. So how you represent the visited and unvisited links? So suppose if you have visited the link once, then your blue colored link may be changed to some other color. Okay, it may be changed to dark blue color like this. Okay, so you have to distinguish this kind of links, distinguish between unselected as well as unvisited links as well. You have to distinguish it with the selected and visited links. Make unselected or unvisited links blue and make selected or visited links purple. Okay, so usually we see this kind of link representation which is going to change the color as you visit the web pages. Okay, if you are clicking the particular links, it will be changing the colors there to understand, to help the user, to make him understand that whether the page is being or link is being visited or unvisited link. So kinds of links. Distinguish links leading to different web destinations through a differentiating symbol. Precede the links to content within the same page with the pound sign. So you know the hash symbol is being used there, okay, to represent the different kinds of links. So for links moving down in the page, we use a hash, only hash sign. So for links that is moving up in the pages, we use the hash, and then we have a another sign, okay, that is like this. Kinds of links. Precede the links to external or foreign sites with another unique symbol such as asterisk sign. So you can provide the links that is preceded with the certain symbols like asterisk sign to represent the external or foreign sites. Do not precede links to other site pages with any other symbol. Also, distinguish links leading to different web destinations by presenting them in consistent locations. Okay, and next we have graphical links. Distinguish graphical links from decorative graphics through underlining the graphical text tables. So how you are going to represent the graphical links? You have to underline the graphical text labels so that you can distinguish the graphical links from the other different graphics that is presented in the website. Next we have links in toolbars. Distinguish links contained in toolbars through presenting in consistent locations. So you have to be consistent in the locations. That is, when you are providing the toolbars, it has to be presented in the same location whenever you open the website. And next we have that is using different colored backgrounds for the toolbars. Okay, so you have to distinguish the links through the different colors, or you can say you can provide the different background colors for differentiating the toolbars. Other link guidelines we have. So writing, we have provide the links to satisfy a range of user needs. So you cannot say a particular website is used by every user. It may be your users will be of community users, you can say. Maybe a student community may be using a certain website, or they will be dealing with the government website, so the users of government websites may be different. So that's why provide the links to satisfy a range of user needs. Next we have create descriptive links clearly indicating their destination or resulting action. So you have to indicate the destination and resulting action through the writing. Next we have grouping. Group the links by most relevant menu grouping scheme. So you can group the links by creating the menu. So in the menu you can group the elements. So within the menu again you will be having choices, number of choices. So there will be again links for the choices as well. So if you click on the links in the choices, again it will be leading to the different web pages. Separate visually the following types of navigation: upward to the immediate parent page, upward to the beginning of the section or category of information, and also across to many sections or categories of information, and to the basic utilities. So separately you separate them so that you have to a user has to understand which is the parent page he is using, or whether he is using the beginning of the section of the particular page, or which category of information he is currently using, and also he has to understand which are the basic utilities in the current page. Other guidelines we have, that is about ordering. Order the links by most relevant menu choice. So you can follow any ordering scheme. So it may be alphabetical scheme, or you can follow the general scheme. So general scheme means if suppose if you are for example, if you are having a calendar, so the calendar it says that it is having 12 months. So there you cannot follow the alphabetical ordering scheme. It's a generally understood topic, so it should have a general menu scheme. Okay, so that is how the ordering scheme is. So all ordering depends upon the contents the menu is having. Okay, next we have heading. Where appropriate, provide the listing heading describing the organizing category, principle or theme. Next we have size. Provide the graphical images and command buttons of a sufficient and equal size. Spacing. How to have spacing between the links. Create equal spacing between the choices, graphical image and textual listing toolbars. In applicability, disable and display dimmed links conditionally not applicable. So suppose if your link is not that important, and then you have to disable the particular link by just dimming that particular link, so that user will understand that is that the particular link is not applicable, or he should not click on that particular link. Kinds of links. Links, we have links within a page and also links within a website. Talking about links within a page, for long pages include links for important content within the page. Place these links at the top of the page and identify by heading or symbol. Links within a website. Suppose we are talking about links within a website, we have first point as home page. So on all pages include links to the website home page. A home link will transport the user directly to the site's home page. So it will be easily accessed by the user, and he can go to the particular starting point of the web page, and he can go to the next pages as well, and he can go back to the home page. And next we have global features. Provide links to the site's global features, including the highest level of information categories and utilities such as search facility. Other main pages, navigation points, sections or categories. Do not link all the sections of the site from all the pages. So if you do so, it will be so we have to provide easy navigation throughout a site. Provide links to the site's major navigation points, sections or categories of information. Pages linked to must possess substantive content. on sequential pages, suppose if you have a number of pages, so website may not be one single page. If you are having a number of pages, then you have to include two buttons there, that is next button as well as previous button. Okay, so suppose if you want to if you are finished with reading a page and if you want to go to the next page, then you can click on the next button, and if you want to go to the previous page, then you can click on to the previous button. So this is when you these 2 points will be remembered, has to be remembered when you are dealing with the sequential pages. Links within a website. Also consider including the links to places of related interest and also important pages can have background or explanatory information and also supplemental information. So you can also include new or changed contents in the website, and also you can include website quit or exit buttons in the web pages. And next we have external links, most appropriate for informational slides. Provide links to relevant information on other sites. So you'll be having related content and also reference information. And about the external links, place the external links on separate pages. Provide an indication when a link goes outside the current site. Maintenance. Maintain the correct internal links. Frequently check and correct the external links. Design characteristics that aid in maintaining a sense of place. To assist maintaining a sense of place within the website, provide a simple hierarchical tree structure and also provide ease of movement to important site features. So to assist maintaining the sense of place across the multiple websites, what you have to do is you have to provide consistency in all the website design elements, including graphical identity schemes, component presentation, and component organization and location. Next we have design elements that aid in maintaining a sense of place. What you have to do is you have to provide a home base or home page. Use recurring navigation tools on all pages. So recurrently, whatever you use, the navigation tools that has presented on the screen, use recurring elements on all the pages. Provide the page numbers for sequential pages. So suppose if you are having number of pages, so website that is linked to number of pages one by one, you have to give the numbers for each of the page. Provide ongoing feedback that shows where users are in a site. Provide on-demand aids that illustrate the user's location within the site. And this is user locations can be provided by having a site maps or table of contents also you can have in the websites. Provide clearly written link labels so that user will be able to access the particular links if it is clearly written with words.